It's certainly capable enough to get in a situation where I was thinking, it's a little bit tasty down here.
Oh, we're tired, barely. That's so good.
This is a YT Izzo, and it's probably the most exciting short travel trail bike you can buy right now. And I say that as someone who's been riding a bike for the last 3 or 4 months. But sadly, my time with this bike has come to an end and it's going back to YT. So here's my long-term review. We'll go through performance aspects like climbing, descending, handling, talk about the geometry, talk about the component highlights and reliability, and what I've changed on this bike in the time I've had it. So let's dive in and take a closer look. But before we do, a quick recap on the Izzo, just in case you missed my first look, linked above if you missed that. So the Izzo is YT's shortest travel bike. YT are best known for longer travel enduro and downhill bikes, but it's the shortest travel bike they've made and they're closest to a cross-country trail bike in their range. So we've got 130mm of travel front and rear. We've got 29-inch wheels because 29 is faster than 27.5, right? A full carbon frame and swing arm. And it is a really good looking bike. I particularly love this sharp line from the head tube down through the top tube, through the linkage into the seat stays to the dropout. I think any mountain bike with that straight line for me works really well, and that is a strong look. And the benefit of that is a low top tube, so plenty of standover clearance. You can run a longer drop post, so that is good. And there's still space for a bottom cage, so that is good as well. So full carbon frame, swing arm, full internal cable routing and drop post as well. Boost rear axle, press fit bottom bracket, which is a issue for some people, but so far I've not had any issues with creaking or squeaking, but I know some people would prefer a threaded bottom bracket. Got a tapered head tube, of course. I've had no rattling from the cables or hoses inside the frame, so that's a good thing. Got a nice, stiff, broad top tube at the head tube junction, so plenty of stiffness. So stiffness hasn't been compromised to keep the weight as low as possible. And this build for this pro race model is about 26.5, 27 pounds. When it comes to climbing, this bike does ascend very, very well. It helps that the weight's quite low, about 26, 27 pounds, so size large, but also a very stiff carbon frame, nice stiff carbon wheels as well, and a wide range SRAM group set. We've got 130mm of very well composed and controlled suspension, front and rear, with good anti-squat in the rear suspension that stops it moving around excessively, stops it bobbing on climbs. We have a remote lockout lever for the shock, but it really is a lockout lever, totally locks it out, solid, firm, no movement at all, which on the road or a tarmac climb is fine, but off-road is pointless, useless in my experience. More useful would be a firm compression tune to just firm it up for longer climbs if you're not the smoothest pedaling person. But I found I can leave it in open with 25 to 30% sag, leave it in open the whole time, and it doesn't move around too much. I guess I'm quite a smooth pedaler, but I didn't find it move around excessively, certainly not robbing me of energy. And because in open, you can benefit from all the traction you get from the suspension with the 4-bar configuration on rooty, rocky climbs to help you get up very steep climbs. So climb performance generally is very good, whether long, mellow, fiery climbs or very steep, techie, tricky, rooty infested switchbacks, it climbs really well. The geometry puts you in a good position. We've got a nice steep seat angle, so you're over the bottom bracket, you can get a nice pedaling position. Quite good reach for the handlebar, so you're not too cramped. Head angle is slack, but it's not too slack. You don't have to keep your weight over the front wheel where you're kind of perched right on the nose of the saddle, and the handlebar doesn't flop from side to side like some very slack bikes. So general climb performance, it's very good. But when it comes to descending, this is where the bike really shines. Now, I'm not gonna say it shreds like a big enduro bike because that would be a lie. It's still only a 130mm travel bike, and there are limitations to how far you can push a bike with this sort of travel. It's certainly capable enough to get in a situation where I was thinking, it's a little bit tasty down here. So no problems there. The limits of the bike are well beyond my limits for sure. And it's a really lively and agile bike, really nimble as well at high speed and on fast descent. You can pop the front wheel, manual front wheel really easily. It's great over jumps and drop-offs. It feels really good in the air. It feels really good over big, rowdy, repeated hits from roots and rocks as well. The suspension controls that, it recovers quickly from each impact. It just deals with every situation I've put through so far, just really well. The suspension package on the bike is very good. I really like the 34. I think the 34 is a good fit for the bike. So some people have pointed out that maybe a 36 would be a good upgrade on this bike to give a bit more capability, that over forking idea. But for me, the 34 is the right fork for this bike. Keeps the weight low and it fits the whole sort of the ethos of this bike very well. And if you're looking at this frame and thinking, yeah, 36 would be good, then you're probably looking at the wrong bike, and the Jeffsy, the next model up, would be the better bike for you, and more travel, and where that fork would make more sense. But on this, I think the 34 works really well. It makes a lot of sense. So it's still trying to be a lightweight bike, but giving the capability that the geometry delivers on the descent. And the geometry really is where the magic is on this bike. The numbers are longer and slacker than many bikes in the category, and while not pushing the envelope, still ensure you can hustle down technical trails as quick as you dare. It's a suitable reward for climbing. It lets you ride hard and fast everywhere. This is the Pro Race, which is one rung below the launch edition. £4,500 or thereabouts. We're a really good build, really shows the direct sales model where you get great components for your money. So Fox 34 factory fork in the front, Fox float factory on the back, Fox transfer seat post, race face carbon handlebar and stem. We got a set of DT 1200 carbon fiber wheels to keep the weight low, and a SRAM Exo Eagle 12-speed drivetrain and their own G2 brakes. And it's all good, solid kit that gives me no issues in the 3 or 4 months I'll be riding the bike. The wheels are amazing, very lightweight, good for the money. The SRAM drivetrain, faultless, no problems there, wide range, all the gears you need, and the G2 brakes are nice and powerful with lever and bike point adjustment, which I like, so I'm dialing the brakes. Quite a few cables and hoses around the front, but not so bad. Yeah, a race face, a 760mm wide handlebar, which some people will find too narrow. You can swap it for a 780 or 800. But personally, I found the width okay. It suits the bike, suits the character of the bike. I've not found it too narrow. But I did swap to a shorter stem, down from 60 to 40 on the bike, just to give the handling a bit of a boost for my riding style. I love the dropper post, nice and smooth. Nice race face lever as well, rather than the Fox lever. The only change I have made are to tyres or tyre. It comes with a set of Maxxis 4-caster tyres, which are fine when it's dry and dusty, very fast rolling, but not the most secure feeling when it's a little bit loose. So I swapped out the front for a WTB Vigilante tyre. Not the beefiest tyre, but gives more grip than a 4-caster, so more cornering grip, a bit more confidence, a bit more traction when I need it. And I've also fitted a race guard, mud guard, because, well, it's wet and muddy here in the UK at the moment, so those are changes I made, and a stem. I put a short stem on. Have there been any downside to the bike during my time with it? Well, no, to be honest. It's been really reliable. No creaks or squeaks from the bottom bracket, no issues with the bearings. Everything's been faultless, really. All I've changed is the front tyre, added a mud guard, and got a shorter stem, and that's been it. It's been a really good, fun, reliable bike. There have been reported issues with warranty and stuff in some of the comments on my previous video, but so far I've had no issues there. Now, the only downside of buying a direct sales brand like a YT is you can't sit on it before you buy it. Although they have just opened a shop in the Surrey Hills, not a shop where you can actually buy a bike, but a shop where you can see the bike, sit on it, maybe take it for a test ride, and then order it and it gets delivered to your home like I experienced on my first look. So that does offer you the opportunity to at least see the bike in the flesh before you put down your hard-earned cash. And that really is the only downside to buying a direct sales bike. You can't touch it, stroke it before you buy it, but at least having a shop in the Surrey Hills is a step in the right direction. So that's really the only downside with the bike. And the waiting times are pretty long, I think, but due to demand, this bike being very popular, being a good seller for YT, and that's why there are supply issues. But there are supply issues in the entire bike industry, so not just YT. In summary then, the YT Izzo is a fun and very capable bike, and for me, the perfect all-round trail bike for climbing speed and descending capability. It really is a sweet spot. It's not as fast as a cross-country bike going up, but much more capable than a cross-country bike going down, and not nearly as capable as an enduro bike going down, but much faster going up. So it isn't really two bikes in one. It isn't as fast as a cross-country bike going up or as good as an enduro bike going down, but it's good enough in both aspects that you're not handicapped when you're going up or when you're going down. So it really is the best of both worlds. Fast going up, going across, and going down. And a really fun bike, just a perfect bike for me. The the only bike I really need for the trails I ride and the sort of riding I like to do. So that'd be my review of the YT Izzo, a really exciting and a really fun bike to ride. And I'll be honest with you, I've been really tempted to buy this bike, but I just bought a new camera, so I'm a little skint at the moment. But what do you think of the bike? Would you buy it? Is it on your shortlist this year? Let me know in the comment section down below. But that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe by clicking that button there and watch my other videos linked over there. And I'll see you all again in the next video. Thanks for watching.